What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. My computer's fixed and we're back and ready to go. On today's episode, we're going to be going back to college. Picture this for a minute. You're hungover, sitting in bed, you feel awful after a night of partying in college. Don't really feel like eating much, but you know you've got to eat something. So you wander on down out of res, walk across the street to the college's cafeteria, in this case called the Oasis, and you end up with what we're making today. Something Fanshawe College likes to call breakfast skillet. As I say, this is a perfect hangover meal and an absolutely easy meal to make. 3 meats, some home fries, some cheese, and some eggs. In this case, we're going to be substituting the cheese for Bearnaise sauce, just as a little change up. And you know what? That's an excellent choice. The Bearnaise sauce is so good. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to chip some fries. I've got a fry chipper here. I know we're doing home fries. I find this works really well. It keeps all the fries a nice consistent size, and honestly, since I started using this, my French fries have been amazingly better. So what I'll do, I'll chip them, then I'll cut them into 2 or 3 pieces per fry, depending on how big the potato is, just to keep them a similar size and turn them into a similar style of home fry. So let's go ahead, start chipping our fries. So we got these nice fries here now, as you can see, pretty good sized fries. So what I'll do, I'll cut them into, probably this one into 3. So you'll see they'll be about this big. Nice size home fry for your fork. Perfect bite size. So go ahead, I'll cut those up. See you in a minute. Okay, the home fries are done. They're soaking in cold water right now. It's important to do that. You want to soak as much of the starch off the fries as you can. Just gives you a better fry in the long run. So I'm going to let those soak. I've got the deep fryer on. Once that gets up to temperature, we'll blanch the fries and then move on to the meat filling. All right, the oil's up to temperature. Let's get blanching. So we'll fill the bottom of this tray or basket with as much of these home fries as we can. In this case, it's going to take all of them. Only a quarter to half full anyway. Once you get it full, drop it down, cook it for about 5 minutes or so. Then you should be perfectly ready to go. Okay, so the fries have been about 5 minutes now. You'll start to see after a few minutes that there's going to be some sugar crystals forming on the outside of the fry. That's the starch starting to cook into the fry that you didn't wash off. That's actually something you do want. So once you start to get to that point, you'll go ahead and take them off the heat, put them into a container and set them aside for a while you continue with the rest of the meal. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll see you in a minute with the next step. Okay, next step, meat filling. So this meat filling is very simple. Ham, bacon, sausage. So we're going to go ahead, we'll fry up the bacon and the sausage. When we get closer to the end, we'll toss in the ham because it's already cooked, and we'll go from there. You're going to have to bear with me on this one. I'm using an induction cooktop. Never used this before. I'm hoping it goes okay, but I can't be so sure. So basically all you're looking to do with your meat is just fry it up and cook it. So once it's cooked, you're good to go. Alright, I'd say we're far enough along here. I can add the ham now. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll add the ham to this. Make sure that extra sausage that I don't need goes in there. And if you're wondering how much of each to put in, it's really entirely up to you. My thought is try to keep it 33, 33, 33. So however much you need to make your meal, use that much. And just remember that you want a third of bacon, a third of sausage, and a third of ham. All right, I'd say we're far enough along now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, transfer the meat to a bowl, I'm gonna start cooking the fries. Then I'm gonna hand the microphones over to Debbie. She's gonna make the Bearnaise sauce for this. It's her recipe. She's the queen of the Bearnaise sauce, and it is so good, so I don't even want to try to tempt it myself. All right, the meat's done. The deep fryer's up to temperature. Let's go ahead and throw in our fries, and then I'm gonna pass the mics over to Debbie for the Bearnaise sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead, we'll start cooking those, and you'll see Debbie in just a minute.
Hey food fans, welcome back. We're going to be making Bearnaise sauce. In our blender we have 3 egg yolks and we need 4. So just in case you don't know how to separate an egg, I'm going to show you. So we're going to crack the egg. I like to use my hands for this. I find it's the easiest way of doing it. So you just kind of cradle it back and forth. Separate your fingers a little bit so that the egg white runs out, and when you're done you should be left with just the egg yolk. I'm just going to wash my hands. We'll be right back with the rest of the Bearnaise sauce. And welcome back. Most Bearnaise sauces you need to use a double boiler and you cook it over the stove top, and you have to be really careful when you're stirring it. This is a surefire, easy to make, foolproof, so far as I'm concerned, foolproof way of making Bearnaise sauce. So in our blender we have 4 egg yolks. To that we're going to add a tablespoon of instant minced onion, a tablespoon of white wine, or a little tiny bit more, a tablespoon of white vinegar. I'll be a little careful on the vinegar than I was with the wine. And a half a cup of melted butter. I've had my butter melted. It's been in the microwave. It's nice and warm. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Bearnaise sauce on the blender. We're going to mix it, and then we're going to slowly add the butter so that we don't cook the egg. And now we're going to add a little bit of the butter, maybe a third of the butter. Give it a mix, a little bit more butter, another mix, and a tiny bit more butter again. And a final mix. And that's it. That's all we should need to do. Our Bearnaise sauce should be done. Perfect. We're just waiting for the rest of the breakfast to be done. I'll hand the mic back over to Chris.
All right. We're back. The home fries are ready, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take them out. I'll let them drain, and we can move on to the eggs. All right, the first thing we're going to do, add some butter to the pan, then we'll turn our induction cooker on, and I have to try to decide what temperature I want to cook our eggs at on an induction that I've never used before. So this is going to be a bit of an adventure. All right, our pan should be ready. Let's get cracking. As I say, I've never used this induction cooktop before, so I may need to adjust the temperature as we go, but I've started it pretty cool for now because the eggs, you don't want the pan very hot to begin with, so we'll see how things go, and we can always adjust as needed. Just to speed things along a little bit, I am going to add a lid to this. It'll turn them into more of a sunny side up egg than kind of a flip fried egg, but the results will still be the same. So I did turn our pan up to 700. That seems to be a perfect temperature to cook these. So I'm going to go ahead. They're at a good spot now. I'm going to flip them, and we'll be 2 or 3 minutes from being done. All right, I'd say our eggs are done now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn the induction off. I'll leave the pan on the heat. It's really not going to cook that much more because the induction doesn't create a lot of heat without the magnets on anyway. So I'll just leave those, and we'll go ahead and we'll start building our first plate. All right, so we need some home fries. Home fries. Now some of this meat mixture. Just give it a quick stir to see if we can kind of make sure everything's mixed together. Sprinkle that over the top. Now your eggs. And a drizzle of Bearnaise. All right, as you can see, this is an excellent looking meal. So we'll give it a quick taste, let you know how it is. Then it'll be just about time to sign off. So the first thing I notice, I did overcook these eggs. Now part of the problem is they've been sitting here for close to 5 minutes now, so that's bound to happen. But if you get a nice, perfectly cooked egg, that yolk will run into the rest of the meal. Very good that way. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit too far, so we'll have to skip that, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Get a little bit of meat on here. It's so good. Just like I remember it from college. Now, obviously in college I didn't get the Bearnaise sauce. It's an unbelievably good touch. And if you're not too worried about cholesterol, one thing I would recommend trying, do with the Bearnaise sauce, but add the cheese as well. It might be a little bit of overkill, depending on the cholesterol issues that you might have, but I'll bet you it would be very, very good. So as always, don't forget to subscribe to the video, hit the like button if you really liked it, share it with everybody you know, and let us know down below. What's your favorite hangover meal? Oh, and don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. So good.